Breaking news from Washington tonight as the controversy surrounding the Epstein investigation continues to expand and Congress pushes for more transparency in one of the most politically explosive cases in recent memory. Lawmakers are now intensifying their efforts to uncover the full truth behind Jeffrey Epstein's network and the powerful figures connected to him. According to new developments coming out of Capitol Hill, Congress is moving forward with additional testimony requests and possible subpoenas tied to individuals believed to have been connected to Epstein or within his broader orbit. At the center of this latest development is a growing bipartisan push to expand the witness list and obtain sworn testimony from a number of high-profile figures. One of the most notable developments involves Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who has recently been under scrutiny after reports surfaced that he may have misrepresented details about his past interactions connected to Epstein's private island. Lawmakers had been preparing to vote on forcing Lutnick to testify under subpoena. However, officials now say the Commerce Secretary has agreed to voluntarily testify before the Congressional Committee, potentially avoiding a more confrontational legal battle. Members of the House Oversight Committee confirmed that a new formal demand letter has been issued seeking testimony from several additional individuals believed to have relevant knowledge of Epstein's operations and contacts. The letter lists multiple figures across politics, finance, and law who could potentially shed light on the connections detailed in the Epstein files. Among the individuals mentioned in the letter is former Obama White House counsel Cathy Ruemmler. According to a spokesperson, Ruemmler has indicated that she is willing to cooperate and appear before the committee if formally requested. That willingness to testify is being viewed by investigators as a positive step toward greater transparency in the ongoing investigation. But Ruemmler is only one of several names included in the newly expanded list. Congressional sources say the committee is seeking interviews with at least 7 additional witnesses whose names surfaced during document reviews and investigative reporting tied to Epstein's network. Those names reportedly include billionaire businessman Bill Gates, who previously acknowledged meeting with Epstein in the past, as well as Epstein's longtime assistant Leslie Groff, who investigators say may possess important insight into Epstein's communications and operations. According to reports from documents previously reviewed by federal authorities, Groff had already been under scrutiny by the Department of Justice during earlier investigations. The growing list also includes prominent financial figures such as Leon Black, the former Apollo Global Management executive who had previously faced questions regarding financial dealings with Epstein. Investigators say financial transactions between Black and Epstein have been examined before and could become a major focus of upcoming testimony. Democratic Congressman Robert Garcia, who is playing a key role in pushing for expanded testimony, confirmed that his office and several other lawmakers have formally requested that the Oversight Committee chairman issue subpoenas if necessary to compel testimony from individuals who refuse to appear voluntarily. Garcia emphasized that lawmakers are not concerned with the political affiliation of potential witnesses. According to him, the central objective of the investigation is to determine the full extent of Epstein's network and uncover any possible wrongdoing or cover-ups that may have taken place. He stated that the committee's position is simple. Anyone who had meaningful contact with Epstein or appeared in the files should be willing to testify publicly so that the American people can finally understand the full scope of the case. Garcia also pointed out that Congress has already demonstrated a willingness to question individuals from across the political spectrum. Earlier in the investigation, lawmakers called for testimony from former President Bill Clinton, who had previously been reported to have flown on Epstein's private jet during the early 2000s. Clinton has since acknowledged certain past contacts, but has denied any involvement in wrongdoing. Now, according to Garcia and other lawmakers, the same standard should apply to former President Donald Trump. Trump's name has appeared in some Epstein-related documents and past media reports, although Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and has previously stated that he banned Epstein from his Mar-a-Lago club years before Epstein's arrest. Despite those denials, some members of Congress argue that if the goal of the investigation is full transparency, then Trump should be asked to testify just like any other individual connected to the case. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also weighed in on the issue, suggesting that it would be reasonable for investigators to request a deposition from Trump if the committee believes he could provide relevant information. Clinton argued that if Congress is serious about uncovering the truth, then no potential witness should be off limits, including former presidents. However, political analysts say the idea of compelling testimony from a former president would face significant legal and political hurdles. Historically, congressional committees have rarely attempted to force testimony from former presidents due to complex constitutional and legal considerations. Still, Garcia suggested that the committee could attempt to ask Trump to appear voluntarily first, before exploring additional legal options if necessary. Beyond the question of witness testimony, another major issue dominating the investigation involves the release of Epstein-related documents. Members of Congress say the Department of Justice has only released roughly half of the materials connected to the case so far. Critics argue that thousands of pages of records remain withheld, redacted, or missing entirely. Garcia and other lawmakers claim that additional documents have been removed from previously provided files and that investigators still do not have access to the complete archive of evidence collected during earlier federal investigations. This has fueled accusations that key information about Epstein's network could still be hidden from the public. Members of Congress say they are exploring several options to force the release of the remaining files, including potential lawsuits and legislative pressure. Garcia noted that outside advocacy groups have already begun filing lawsuits demanding the release of additional records, and those legal efforts could continue to escalate in the coming months. Lawmakers also believe growing public pressure is playing a critical role in pushing the investigation forward. Polling data suggests that a large majority of Americans across both political parties want the full Epstein files released. Some surveys indicate that more than 70% of both Republican and Democratic voters support making all remaining documents public. Political strategists say the Epstein investigation has become one of the most politically sensitive issues in Washington because it touches powerful figures across multiple industries and political parties. For survivors of Epstein's crimes, lawmakers say the investigation is not about politics, but about accountability and justice. Garcia emphasized that the investigation is still in its early stages and that additional witnesses, documents, and revelations are likely to emerge as Congress continues its work. He insisted that the effort to uncover the full truth about Epstein's network will continue regardless of political pressure. As Congress prepares for another round of hearings and testimony requests, the coming weeks could determine whether key figures agree to cooperate voluntarily or whether lawmakers will escalate the investigation through subpoenas and legal action. One thing is clear tonight: the Epstein investigation is far from over, and the fight over transparency, accountability, and the release of remaining documents is only intensifying in Washington.